The scene today at a Walmart store in Bridgeton, Missouri. Protesters shouting, "Shut it down," as the Ferguson protest shifts from the streets to the stores. To Steve Harrigan in St. Louis Galleria Mall, where protesters disrupted holiday shoppers.
Charles, on one of the busiest shopping days of the year, you can see right now that the police are actually blocking the entranceway to this mall. They've shut down this mall, at least temporarily. About 100 protesters inside protesting the Michael Brown shooting, staging a die-in. They were lying on the floor and taking over some of the escalators. There was no arrest made and no violence inside, but people inside the mall were asked to leave at least temporarily. They were calmly escorted out, no real sense of panic. But when you talk to people who've been asked to leave the shopping mall on a Black Friday, they are pretty much furious. Keep in mind, though, the numbers of protesters have gone way down over the past couple of days. Since the violence on Monday, we've seen a real decline on the outdoor protests. Last night, pretty much nobody out on the streets of Ferguson and no arrests made. Charles, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Well, after 2 days of violent protests in Ferguson this week, the demonstrators we're seeing today, well, at least they appear to be peaceful. Is it because the outside agitators took a holiday break? Bishop E.W. Jackson was there during the initial protests. So what do you think about what we're starting to see right now?
Thanks for having me, Charles. Well, first of all, the outside agitators have played a role in this. And we put forth a 7-point plan that said one of the things that these communities have to do is disinvite the outsiders. Tell them you are not welcome. You do not have a platform here. I think the people of the community want to get past the racial divide and the racial animus that's been stirred up. And I think we just need to have folks in that community addressing the issue rather than outsiders.
Who are the agitators? Can you tell us who are some of these agitators?
Sure.
If I live in Ferguson, how do I identify them?
Well, look, you've got people who come in with an ideological perspective, and they're spewing a lot of socialist, sometimes communist rhetoric. The new Black Panther Party, for example, comes into these situations. Frankly, Al Sharpton always comes into these situations, and they've got to stop letting people like that come in and take over a community and set the tone. But there are a number of far-left groups that come in and exploit these situations to advance their own agenda.
You know, Bishop, what do you think it is? Do you think that these communities are just broken down, just that they're spiritually so broken down that anyone can come in with a, silver tongue or some sort of, hey, everyone's against you sort of rhetoric? Why does that always seem to work?
There's a long history over the last 50 years, Charles, of what I call racially obsessed people using race to manipulate the black community. This is not 1955. Michael Brown, and it's tragic that he lost his life, but he's not Emmett Till. Officer Darren Wilson is not the KKK. This is a different era. These kids need jobs. They need education. They need stable families. Instead of doing sit-ins and die-ins at Walmart, they need people working at Walmart and shopping at Walmart. We need people with a vision for building the community rather than a vision for exploiting racial division.
You know, I don't disagree with you on anything that you said. In fact, I've been saying as much for a long time myself. But I think the problem—
I know, I've heard you, Charles.
One of the issues or problems seems to be that within the communities that, you say, where is the embedded leadership, or how do you call that out? Like, in other words, we know that the leftists are going to flock there, but when do the others with the other side of the message flock there as well?
Charles, let me say it right now. I talked to pastors when I was out there. I've talked to them all over the country. Pastors, stand up. Don't let your community be overtaken by the new Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam, the Al Sharpton. Stand up and take the leadership that you've been given by God and by that community. These communities, Charles, I think are capable of getting past this racial animus, because that's not going to help anybody, but it's going to take pastors with vision, and they're there, Charles. They're there, but they've got to stand up and be heard.
You know, after work on Friday, my show ends at 7. Went over to one of the nicest restaurants in the city, and in strolls Al Sharpton, and it just hurt me that he would be in this nice, beautiful restaurant while people were getting arrested thinking they were following his lead. Bishop, I got to leave it here. I want to appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, Charles.
All right. Hey, should terror fears go away? Well,